And that subject actually is a three-part series, which I never get to finish teaching these three parts or two parts. But I got him as a three-part series, and you can't really exhaust any of those. What you see here about secret place of worship, peace and faith. But I will connect maybe the first part, and God willing, who knows, maybe the Lord will teach you later on the other subjects. But these these three areas have been really burning in my heart. And one of the really real powerful area is a personal devotion and a personal worship to the Lord. And of course, most of us have grew up in church. We grew up in church. We go to church. We worship. We sing. Uh, we experience the presence of God sometimes, encounter with the Lord. But the Lord have been teaching me about really what is really worship as a person for me. And when we were in Israel and we go to different locations, and then we went to a place where Abraham first built an altar to the Lord. And when God called him to go and sacrifice his son Isaac, and he took him, the Bible says he told his servant, said, remain here, and me and my son, we will go up to the mountain to worship and come back. He did not say, I'll go and sacrifice or give an offering and come back. He called that, we'll go and worship and come back. So that really hit me, that every time Abraham heard from the Lord, every place he built an altar. And that has been a challenge in my heart, asking myself, am I truly worshiping God with my spirit, my soul, my emotions, in spirit and in truth? The pure worship to the Lord is not really the service of a songs. Now, I love that. I love when we come together and worship the Lord corporately, sing songs, new songs, hymns, and the presence of God is there. But truly, what is worship? You remember Jesus said in John chapter 4 to the woman at the well, he said, you worship the one you do not know. You don't know what you worship. It's like, wow, Jesus really challenged the woman and said, you worship what you do not know. In other words, I could be in a place where I'm worshiping the God I don't know, the way I do not know, understand. And probably that's why the Jews sometimes they look at us, the Gentiles, so they call us the Gentile, and they look at us and say, you don't know what you're worshiping, who you're worshiping. God is our God, the God of Abraham. We are the one that know how to worship. And then Jesus said, he said, the Father is looking for those who worship him in what? In spirit and in truth. So I began now on a journey of offering God my best from my heart. How does that look like? Every day when I'm walking, when I'm driving, when I'm meeting people, and I'm beginning to learn now that the way I treat others has everything to do with my worship to the Lord. Grace and I were talking when we were coming back, driving here this morning, and we drove almost an hour, so we have a lot of time to talk. So, and we were talking, driving, and talking about this testimony of this girl, the Amish girl. This is a new family. This family, we could tell you this story is amazing, because for years we prayed for this particular group of Amish in Mifflin County, I think, in Perry County. They, how many of you know about Amish? You know Amish community. The Lord has given Grace and I grace. The Lord has given Grace and I grace to reach out to the Amish community. In this particular community, normally the Amish people, they drive or they ride in a gray buggies, horse and buggy, but the buggy is gray. And in Mifflin County and Perry County, it's called the Big Valley in Belleville area. The Amish there, there are about three types of Amish. One, the Amish that drive the black buggies. Here in Lancaster County, the black buggies are Mennonites. Mennonite who have horse and buggy. But over there it's black for Amish and white. They call them white top. White top Amish. That means their buggies are white. Have you ever seen a white buggy? You have. Our brother there, you've seen the white buggies over in Belleville. And I didn't know about the white buggies until a few years back here. And those are the really, you talk about traditional. Those are real traditional. And then there's yellow buggies. And their buggies are all yellow. So there's all the beliefs that if you have a yellow buggy, there's some spiritual connection, or I don't know, or white top. So this particular family we started ministering to last week, the one girl that just got saved, they are white buggy, white top. And somehow supernaturally the Lord brought them in our meeting when we were teaching there. But what I wanted to mention here is the power of worship in our devotion to the Lord, that the Lord begins to do great things that you would not even imagine you doing. Just because you're so devoted to the Lord, all your heart is to worship the Lord, to love him with all your heart. Even me, and my wife, we come from Uganda. We're African. I mean, you can tell, right? Can't you? You can't miss us. Let's say if our skin color was different and you said, oh, you from, no, this is it. I think 2 days ago, we went to a meeting, to a fundraiser dinner, and they told this brother, this guy said, what we do with the Amish. He said, I grew up, I'm 56 years old. I've been here all my life. And I can't even reach one Amish. How do you do it? He asked me, because I was sitting next to him. I said, you know what? I can ask the same question that you asked. How do I do it? I don't know. How you say you don't know? That's what you do? Yes, I don't know. All I do is love the Lord. I'm devoted to Jesus, to love the Lord with all of my heart, all my soul, all my strength, with everything, to love him, to worship him, and everything else he wants me to do, he does it through me. I can't explain to you. When you're a worshiper of God, you're devoted to love the Lord, he will just begin to do what he wants to do. If he chooses to use this black guy to go reach some Amish people, Lord, if that's what you intend to do it, Lord. I know I can't do it. I don't look like them. I never grew up around them. I don't even know who they are. But God, you know, if you want me to reveal and to demonstrate your love to this particular group of people, I am a worshiper of God. I have no choice. Lord, use me. And this her name is Marlene. Marlene, remember to pray for Marlene. She got born again. And then her other sister is Mary Beth. And her mother is Lavanya. Oh, man. They're beautiful people. They're dressed so different. I couldn't believe these are Amish because they dress different. And then I said, hey, you dress different from the other Amish in Lancaster County. He said, yeah, we are the Amish from Nebraska, from Nebraskan Amish. And then she whispered, she said, we're a little bit fancy. I couldn't believe the fancy she was talking about. She said we're a little bit fancy. That's her definition of fancy. And but the point I wanted to bring is, we went to this place, we met them, they had were coming, the son brought them, but by just spending time with them, because their brother who drove them, because he's no longer Amish, he called me and he said, my mother and my sisters is like day and night. Those few moments that you guys spend, especially your wife, spend time with my mother and shared the love of Jesus with her. And she took the time, because the youngest sister, who's 16, the one who just got born again, they didn't know what to do with this girl. Like there's always this teenager, 16, and after that encounter with the Lord, he called and said, my mom can't even believe that it's like day and night. And it was not hours of a program that she went through. And she wants us to come back. Actually, this week, this Friday, we're going to start a fellowship in their home. A little bit of 2 hours drive, 2.5 hours, it doesn't matter. If you are a worshiper of God, if you love God with all your heart, you have no schedule. He has your schedule. If you want to stop and help the poor, he's the one doing it. Allow him. Here I am, Lord, send me. Are you willing and ready to say, here I am, Lord? If you pray that prayer, you better mean it. I prayed it. I had no idea what I was praying in Africa. When I was out there, I was in a youth camp. Actually, my life got impacted in a youth camp, and they told us Isaiah 6, when Isaiah had an encounter with God in the glory of God, and he heard a voice saying, "Who will go for us? Who will send?" And Isaiah replied and he said, here I am, send me. And I said, all I did, because I didn't have much. I didn't have anything. I didn't have much. No one knew me. My family, poor, poverty, village. I was just a village kid. All I did, they taught me the important, love the Lord with all your heart. Give your heart to Jesus. Be a worshiper of God. Just give your heart to the Lord and say, use me. And I prayed that simple prayer. And I remember that evening at that youth camp. Don't tell me that these kids, when they come in the youth camp, that they don't mean it. Because I meant it. Sometimes they don't think the kids mean it. Kids mean it. That's why we should give everything the Lord gives us to give to the kids. They know what they're doing, especially if we introduce them to the real Jesus, the one who rose from the dead. So I made that commitment at 18, and I said, Lord, here I am. Use me. But man, that prayer have gotten me into so many tough places, so many good places, but so many lives have been so blessed. Even today, when my wife was talking about, we just came from Israel, we were in Switzerland, we were in Germany, we were in Poland, we were in Czech Republic. Now, next Monday, I'm going back to Switzerland, this time by myself. How can you do that? I can even see myself back every time I go anywhere, when I'm in India, Russia, where I always remember being in that village and saying, Lord, whatever you can do with me. I don't have much. I don't know much. I am available. 25 countries and counting. Nations keep opening. There's this apostle in where is that? In Nepal, Kenya. I'm supposed to be going to Kenya in November for pastors' meeting there. But this Poland, Nepal, this pastor called me in the middle of the night. You guys, when are you coming? When are you coming? That's why I'm wondering when we're going to be taking some of you with us. The tough time that we've been having is that everywhere we go, we have no word of grace. Someone, with us. One of these, God willing, that you could be with us and come back and tell the story of what God can do. But just be a worshiper of God. Now, there is this one lady, I didn't realize how the Lord is going to lead me, because it was really emotional to see what God can do with a yielded vessel. We are not special people. Grace and I are not special people. When I first came here in Harrisburg, Grace was now with me. In Harrisburg, I spent almost 20 years here. Even God, what he was doing with me, it was also impossible. An African guy, a young man from the village again. I find myself in the inner city of Harrisburg. How you do that? People always ask me, how do you do that? God gave us so much fruitfulness and success here in Harrisburg. In a tough place on the streets. A street preacher. Again, they always ask, how you do that? I don't know. All I can say, John 15, when you read John 15 from verse 1, Jesus said, I am the vine, and you are the branches. And he said, you abide in me, just like the branch abides and connects to the vine. When you are connected to the vine, to the tree, to the vine, you are the branch. You have no choice, but whatever life that is flowing in the vine flows in you and through you. So I don't know I can't tell you this is the formula. This is how it works. I'm just connected to the vine. I'm just connected to Jesus. I don't know what next he has on the program. But because I had already given my life to him, and I said, Lord, whatever you do, Lord, whatever you want for my life, as long as I have breath in me. Most of you know, my first wife passed away, and this is my second marriage. And I'm so grateful that most of the time when people have that experience, when they make the right next choice, sometimes it's not easy. But when you're connected to the vine, and I remember when she passed away here in Harrisburg, it was another nightmare. Brother Justo, you know my life. Some of you know, and I was there, and that was another turning point for my life. When you see me just so passionate and so that when I talk like, I'm not gonna say like a madman, but I have no time for mess. I have a mission, and I have no time to play around with anybody who doesn't value the life that God have given them. I was there when she breathed her last breath, and that marked my life. I remember that time when I gave my life, I surrendered as a young person in the youth camp, and I said, I will serve you with all my life, everything. In that moment, this moment also, it was another point when I surrendered again. Because to see someone that you lived with, walked with, breathe the last breath, and you know that is it, it had an impact on me. At that moment, when that happened, actually, I never tell this story. When she was getting ready to transition, somehow supernatural, she was able to communicate. She asked me to bring a paper. Most of you have never heard me tell that. I brought the paper real quick and the pen, and she started writing on the paper. I helped her to write, and she said, I just spoke to. That was it. I said, to who? To who? To who? It was done. I wanted to know. That let me know when we approach as the children of God to transition, there is an interaction that goes on. If you knew your loved ones, what was happening in that moment, you will not be as sad as you are. Because Jesus himself is involved with the saints that transition. In that moment, I surrendered again. At that moment. And I said, Lord, the breath that I have left every day of my life, I want to spend it doing your will. Whatever you want to do with me, wherever you want me to go, here I am. I don't have much. I don't know much. But I'm telling you, when you surrender to the Lord, it's amazing what he would do. Let God be the determinant of who you are, where you go. I know we plan our lives. We plan our retirement. We plan how many years we're going to work at this job, and we're going to retire. And we determine how much money you're going to have at retirement each month. That the experts will tell you this, how, this, everything. They're kind of like, whoa, work it out. Okay, I'm good now. But there's also another side. That's good side. But there's also another side to say, Lord, how do you see it as far as my future? Lord, here I am. When you pray that prayer, it may not look exactly like the experts and your parents and everybody, but it's going to be perfect with God. So I challenge you to be a worshiper of God. In worship, that's when we surrender our will to his will. When you are driving home today, let your car be an altar. When you get home, your bedroom, let it be an altar. Young people, yes, you go to school. Wonderful, good. How about saying, Lord, well, I'm in this season. How do you see it for me? Whatever you want to do in this school while I'm here, Lord, I'm not going to put it off when I graduate. Because the Bible says, now faith is, not yesterday. You're not going to serve the Lord yesterday or tomorrow. Right? You see this? I don't have a fancy watch. I keep giving them away. So probably the Lord saying, I get good watches and I keep sewing them. He gave me a brand new gold watch, and I gave it away. So now I just put messages. This one is a conference that we're part of in Germany recently, that I'm wearing this, this what you call a wrist. It says, right now. You see that?
Right now.
You're not, you see that? What does it say?
Right now.
Right now. You're not going to serve the Lord tomorrow. You can't love someone tomorrow. You can't love her 5 hours from now. Is when. What if we live the life right now? How would that look like? We worship God when? You can't say, oh, when we go on Sunday, this Sunday we're going to go to worship the Lord. Too late. You can't serve the Lord tomorrow. Charlie Kirk, 31 years old. 31. I can remember when 31. 31, I was here in Harrisburg. The devil was just trying to mess with me here a lot on the streets, and I'm messing with him. 31. Remember what you were doing at 31. A yielded vessel at 31. 31. 313. Not 51. If he was 51, if he had died 51, he would have been 20 years from now. And 51 is young. If it was 81, it's still young. That was many years. But it was 3-1. At 31, the impact is going to be felt for generations to come. No matter how your political circle says about him, he was 31. You can't challenge that. At 31, he had given his heart to the Lord, and he said, Lord, use me however you choose to use me. For him, God used him like Jeremiah and Daniel and Esther, all of them. They rose up by the Spirit of God to challenge the status quo of that political time. To bring God, to reveal God to the cultures of that time. What will your right now look like? You can't say when I graduate. No. Yes, it's good to have that, but how about now? Now. Everybody say now. To live in the now and to stop for the one. Okay. Oh, I like that. Live in the now. Say, write it down. Write down. This is very, very important. Live in the now and stop for the one. For the one person. Jesus, that's how he lived. Yes, he had crowds, but his focus was not about crowds. He saw the crowd. He always saw an individual in every crowd. If you want to be used by God mightily, leave this crowd. How many clicks? How many views? How many that? The one. What does God want you to do to impact that person that he brings in your life, that he leads you to make that phone call, to send that text? Maybe that text is what's going to save that person about to commit suicide. I can't begin to tell you how many times at night when I'm praying and studying and the Holy Spirit used me in my contact to send somebody, I'm praying, send a text to somebody and encourage them, and immediately they will call me back. They say, you have no idea what that text meant to me. I was down. I was depressed. I was about to give up. But that text meant a lot. Everybody say, now. A yielded life, a surrendered life, surrendered will. And that's worship, where we're totally surrendered to Him. Now I'm going to read this story. I'm going to give you this story and then we stop. All the other stuff, probably I'm not going to touch them because I think we are ready to come to the altar, aren't we? We will make wherever you are an altar and remember that day. I remember. I can take you to a place where I say, Lord, it's not about David Condole. I have no more excuses of where I come from, where I was raised, where I was born. I had so many excuses before. I come from a poor family. I'm from a village. I'm from Africa. No one knows me. I'm not of high class. I'm not too educated. I'm not this and that. I had all that. But the Lord said, there's always one qualification that put everybody where I want them to be. Here I am. Do with me whatever. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to be like her. Don't be intimidated because someone have a PhD. That may be their path. You're not going to get away with serving God just because you don't have this, you don't have this. I mean, I got my first pair of shoes, I think I was probably, 14 or something? I went to school barefoot. Same you. When it rains, I'm walking in. Now I got shoes. So many shoes I can't finish them. If I wore a shoe every day, one pair of shoes, I got shoes just laying over there. Nice shoes too. People bought me shoes when I was pastor. You know, in African American community, they dress. They buy me a shoe. I couldn't believe one day the guy who come from the village, literally, I got a shoe for almost $2,000. They bought it. I have some of my suits. I don't even wear them because in the Amish, you don't wear no suits. One suit I have is $2,500. But then I always remember, I used to wash my shirt at night and hung it to go preach the next day. When you surrender to God, you have no idea what He will do with your life. Please do it today. Tomorrow, you watch your life take off. Most people have changed and transformed the world today, even in the business world, corporate. They didn't do it after they graduate or retire. Facebook. I'm not a fan of Facebook, but it helps people to. I have Facebook. I prefer Facebook. But Facebook, when he discovered that, he stopped going to school. What else? What the Microsoft? Now you can go on and on and on and on and on. But how about you who is connected to God? The Lord wants to use you to impact somebody, and you have no idea that person, what they'll turn out to be. And some of us is to impact our kids. And I told the Lord, I'm not going to go everywhere all over the world and then my own son. And He said, don't worry about it. I got your back on that one. Just love him. And he's out there impacting I just saw him on his, announcing he has a podcast called Faith Hustle. You young people, probably you need to follow our son, Faith Hustle, with Mukwenda. Hustle, yeah, Faith Hustle. And he's doing multiple cities, either 6 cities in Texas. I said, my goodness, I never thought of doing that. That's what happened. When we are worshipers of God, God begin to deal with what our affairs. He will take care of it. He will take care. Don't worry about the kids. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just worship him. He's going to take care of that devil, that demon. And the worship of God, the devils are scared to touch anything that it pertains a part of the man or woman who is dedicated and yielded to worship God. They may go to like, but God will bring them back in line. Amen? Oh, man, I love it. Okay, let's read it. Are you learning something? Can we just give Jesus a hand of praise and praise him? Don't worry about your kids. Some of you, that is a word from the Lord. Don't worry about the children. Don't worry about the grandchildren. Don't worry. Don't worry about the husband. Don't worry about the wife. You worship God. Worship the Lord. Look at, we'll close with this. Luke chapter 7. This is where I wanted to go at the beginning. Okay. Jesus. This is, whoa. Look at this woman. This woman it's been bothering my spirit. Blessing my spirit in the scripture. This woman, in the natural, she didn't have what it takes. She was a sinner. But she discovered something. She said, I may be a sinner, but my spirit have discovered someone who can help me. Look at verse 36. Let's read it together. Then one of the Pharisees asked him to eat with him. And he went to the Pharisee's house and sat down to eat. Actually, when you read that, this is the story that is in all the Gospels. It's amazing. In Matthew said he went to Simon's house, who was a leper. And then verse 37, and behold, a woman in the city who was a sinner, when she knew that Jesus sat at the table in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster flask of fragrant oil. How did she even manage to even creep in there? Maybe she had some connection in that house, okay? All right, 38. And stood at the feet behind him, weeping. And she began to wash his feet with her tears, weeping. When you meet the Lord, something happened to you. She was not saved. She didn't know much about the Lord. But her spirit met someone who just loves her unconditionally, with zero condemnation. If we could be that to the world, that when someone is in, even though you know they're sin, Jesus knew she was a sinner, but he also knew she was made in the image of God. With tears, and wiped them with her hair of her head. She was not Amish. Her hair would have been totally covered. No. And she kissed his feet and anointed them with a fragrance of oil. And, 30. And now can we read together? And when the Pharisees who had invited him saw this, he spoke to himself saying, this man, if he were a prophet, would know who and what man of woman this is who is touching him, for she is a sinner. Don't we do that all the time? Look at his dreadlocks. Something, it's not right. I'm not sensing. He's not truly saved. Look at these tattoos. He smells. I smell the breath. He may be doing drugs. Just stay away from him. And Jesus answered and said to him, what did he say? Simon, I have something to say to you. So he said, teacher, say it. Oh man, when Jesus said, I got something to say to you, you better watch yourself. Okay, let's do it. There was a certain creditor who had two debtors. One owed 500 denarii and the other 50. Okay? And when they had nothing to which to repay, he freely forgave them both. Tell me, therefore, which of them will love him more? Here you will say, even a fifth grader would know that. Okay. Simon answered and said, I suppose the one whom he forgave more. And he said to him, you have rightly judged. Then he turned to the woman and said to Simon, do you see this woman? I entered your house. You gave me no water for my feet. And God just called him out. You gave me no water to your feet, but she has washed my feet with her tears and wiped them with the hair of her head. You gave me no kiss, but this woman has not ceased to kiss my feet since the time I came. That is worship. People who are out on the street, they're going to come in here and give God the purest worship. And we're going to be there like religious people. I can't understand. She's just on the ground. I can't understand. She's falling down. I can't understand. She's crying out before the Lord. He's about to reveal. Okay, listen. You did not anoint my head with oil, but this woman has anointed my feet with fragrant oil. Okay? Therefore, I say to you, Simon, her sins, which are many, are forgiven. For she loved what? She did what? What is our level of love? That verse let me know there is levels of love. Jesus would not have said she loved much. And then what? But to whom little is forgiven, the same loves little. 48. Then he said to her, forgiven. And those who sat at the table with him began to say to themselves, who is this who even forgives sin? 50. Then he said to the woman, your faith has saved you. Go in peace. That's why you see that my subject is about worship. It's about peace. It's about faith. But let's close with this. You may want to, could you stand up as we read this? Because if you don't, this brother is going to go. John 12. I'm so full of this word here. How many of you are being touched by the Lord right now? It's about worship. It's about worship. About loving much. Forgiving much. We love much. Don't hold back your worship just because some religious people are surrounding you in the church. Don't hold back. Be extravagant. This one is the same story, but it tells us in a different way to see how costly this was to this woman. If God leads you to do something for his work and his kingdom, do it. Do it. Sometimes it's what you do reveals how much you love. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not that we do it so God can love us, but sometimes God has done so much for us. We just want to do more. Lord, You blessed me. I had no job. Some people were homeless. How many of you have ever been homeless? You have no job, a place to stay. Look, you see that hand? You see? You see the hand? And when you get it, you're in your home, how much you love God, knowing that you were out there in the shelter or on the street, you had no home. Your level of love for God is so deep, so deep. Then 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany. We were in Bethany there, where Lazarus was who had been dead, whom he had raised from the dead. Verse 2. There they made him a supper. They made him supper. Another place says supper in his honor. So you can make a supper in honor of the Lord. Okay? A supper. And Martha served, but Lazarus was one of those who sat at the table with him. Can you imagine somebody was dead? He's sitting at the table just enjoying it. Man, Jesus does it first class. The guy was dead 4 days. Now he's just enjoying some dinner, maybe beef or salmon. I love salmon. Then Mary, look at this. That's what I wanted you to see. Let's read that. Let's read it together. Then Mary took a pound of a very costly oil of spikenard, anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the fragrance of oil. Your worship fills the room. It fills the very throne of heaven. She broke the box. Very costly. She said, I don't care. I met the Master, the one who forgive my sin, to rid me of this thing that I've been carrying. I can't get rid of it. God, whatever it is, this is not important. I don't care how much it costs. I'm going to anoint you. I don't care how much. I'm going to worship you. I'm going to praise you. Okay, verse 4. But one of his disciples, always a disciple, Judas Iscariot, the guy who's going to get in trouble here, Simon's son, who would betray him, said, why was this fragrant oil not sold for 300? The guy who always complains that the pastor is getting more blessed. We don't need to do that for him all the time. Watch that guy. Watch that guy. You see? Why was the fragrant oil not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor? Then he said, not that he cared for the poor. This guy was a thief. But because he was a thief, can you imagine Jesus had a thief on his team? And he knew that body was stealing from that bag. And had the money box, and he used to take what was put in it. People steal from the church. 7. True. Okay, 7. But Jesus said, let her alone. She has kept this for the day of my burial. Verse 8. For the poor you always, but me you do not have. Is there another 9 there? How a great many of the Jews knew that he was there, and they came for Jesus' sake. Okay, we're done. But what I wanted to show you, your worship, so important. Be a worshiper of God. Don't hold back. And live in the now. Serve God now. Obey God now. Touch somebody now. Don't reserve, hold back your love for anybody, because tomorrow they might not be here. Love them. Touch them. Help them. Lift someone today. Introduce somebody to a job today. You have no idea tomorrow what that would do for the glory of God.